All right. Thanks, Robin, for the invitation to come and speak to you this morning. I'm here as a Flinders academic staff member, and I don't know if you know, but Flinders has campuses here in the Northern Territory as well as being Adelaide-based. And so my job includes looking after students and making sure things work well for students who undertake placements during their nursing or allied health professional course from Flinders. That's my current position. So for people who are in the OT pathway, you'll hear from me and other people who are based in Flinders in the Northern Territory, and we usually call that Flinders NT. So if you hear us talk about Flinders NT, or if you hear someone talk about Flinders NT, that's still Flinders, but it's important to you if you're thinking of, you know, wanting to continue on after your Bachelor of Health Science into a Flinders degree.
You want me to? You just nod.
Okay, can I use this? I really like these. No, that won't work. Okay.
No, oh, hang on, not mine.
Let's do that. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, it might be.
So, if you're in the OT stream, I'm not sure how much you actually understand about what that actually means for you in terms of then progressing on to Flinders. Okay, so let me tell you about that. So during your Bachelor of Health Science, you will do actually 3 topics that are Flinders topics, and you'll do 1 in each year of the course, presumably if you follow sort of a sort of reasonably normal progression of the order that you take the topics in. And those topics are specific, you do those through cross-institutional enrolment, and they help you get introduced to what it means to be an occupational therapist and the sort of prerequisite knowledge that you might want to do well in the Masters of OT, because the Masters of OT is a 2-year course. If you were to start an occupational therapy degree straight out of high school or with no other degree, you would be doing a 4-year degree. So by doing these 3 topics through cross-institutional enrolment, it gives you a good foundation to be able to do the 2-year master's degree. So the OT stream is part of what we call a pathway. It's a signed agreement between CDU and Flinders University for students to be able to progress directly from the bachelor that you've enrolled in now to the masters at Flinders. But there are a few conditions attached to that. And there's an agreement for up to 6 students. So at the moment, you know, anyone that's in the OT pathway who meets the requirements would be able to fit into one of those 6 places. So you shouldn't be anxious about there only being 6. There is enough places for the students who are enrolled. But the conditions that you have to meet is a grade point average of 5 or above over the 3 years of your course. And if you're not sure what a grade point average is, it kind of means thinking about getting a credit average. Is that fair to say? So that, yeah, so you might get some distinctions or high distinctions and a pass or 2, and it probably averages out to credit.
Just for the record, Renee's on a high distinction average.
Okay.
No pressure.
So if you have that GPA of over 5 and you're in the OT stream, then there is a priority order applied to the students who are applying to go onto the Masters. And they're Northern Territory residents, and Aboriginal people get highest priority awarded to them. And the way that we think about MT residents is you have to have spent 2 out of the last 6 years in the Northern Territory and be able to verify that, or have spent at least 5 years kind of since primary school here in the Territory. Because the reason that we really emphasise Territory residents is we want you to work here. All right, it's the very purpose of this. We don't have enough occupational therapists. We don't have enough of a lot of health professions. But at the moment, what we've said is, you know, CDU has a program here so people don't have to leave home as soon as you finish high school and head off, or if you've got family responsibilities, you can stay here. Makes your life a bit simpler. Then you've only got to figure out 2 years rather than 4 years out of the Territory. And we really, truly want you to come back.
Could probably press the harder.
Try it now, you reckon? Okay. So how will you connect with us? Because you're enrolled here at CDU, you're on this campus, what will we mean to you? So we have a building actually here on CDU for our medical students. You can wander over there and you know, have a look sometime if you like. But I sit over at Royal Darwin Hospital in a building that's marked as Flinders, and it's directly behind the hospital. So you could come and say hello to me over there. I'd be really happy to meet with you. At some point you'll get an email from us that says, you know, hi, we're Flinders MT and we're excited that you're in the Bachelor of Health Science, and can you tell us if you're thinking that you're in the OT stream? And am I right, Robin, to think that people switch and change sometimes between streams? Or?
They can, because a lot of people aren't sure when they start off. So
okay. Okay. So if you think that you are and then you change your mind and you're not, or the other way around, like, just keep us informed, because we're really keen to know about you and to connect with you in ways that help you feel like you're actually training to be an occupational therapist. We have events called SNPs, and they're student networking sessions. So all of the students who are on placement in the Northern Territory at the time of that SNPs event, and we have them every 2 weeks, they get invited to come, and it's a talk or it's some food and a discussion about a topic, etc., of interest to health professional students. So you might be interested in attending those SNPs, and we can certainly make sure you get the email advertising for that. We also have other events. So at the end of last year, we invited all the students who are in the OT pathway to come and meet with us and talk to us about, you know, what they thought their next step was. And we had some pizza or something. So we kind of bribe you a little bit to come and meet with you, to meet with us. Another event that we're working on at the moment is an escape room. I don't know if you've done an escape room before, but escape room is a 3D real life puzzle where you get locked in a room and you have to solve the puzzle to get out. And we're working on one of those to help the people that do, the students that do that escape room, to understand more about the roles of other health professionals in the team. So that's going to be the focus of the escape room. So that'll be a lot of fun, and we actually need some help in testing it and figuring out if it actually does what we want it to do in terms of what people learn when they do that escape room. So, you know, you might get an invitation to put your hand up and come and try it out for us and give us some feedback on it as we develop it. And I already said come and visit us. So yeah, we are keen to have you. I'm not an OT, I'm a speech pathologist, but I know a lot about OTs, and I've worked with masses of OTs, and we can put you directly in touch with OTs, and that will include having OTs come and talk at some of the events that we put on.
Yeah.
All right. Once you've completed your Bachelor of Health Science and you are in the Masters of OT, we're still really keen to stay in touch with you. And in particular, there are 3 placements that you do during that 2 years. And there are 6-week placements, and we want you to do at least one of them here in the NT. If you want to do more than one, we'd be very happy to sort that out for you as well, but we're really keen that you do at least one, because we really want you to understand what it's like to work here. We want you to connect with the professionals who are already working here and really feel inspired that this is a great place to work. You know, you won't find more interesting kinds of jobs anywhere in Australia compared with here. And I'm not saying that because I'm from here, because I'm actually not. I'm a blow, and I've been here a long time, but it's a fantastic place to work. Now, this little map that I've put up, you can see kind of the orange part that shows the Northern Territory, and it shows some areas into Western Australia, into the top of South Australia. And I've highlighted those because, in fact, people who live in those regions don't, you know, the Aboriginal people, that's their traditional lands, and so they don't just recognise state boundaries like we have. And so the work that Flinders NT does do crosses over some of those state boundaries. So if you were to do a placement in Alice Springs, for example, you might be working with someone who had been transferred in from a Western Australian very remote community or a South Australian very remote community. So Flinders NT has got sites, buildings and staff in each of the major Northern Territory towns. So here in Darwin, obviously, also in Katherine, also in Alice Springs, also in Tennant Creek, also in Nhulunbuy. So if you want to do a placement in those locations, we're pretty keen to help you sort that out. Sometimes you get choices about where you do placements, not always, but if you've got particular preferences and reasons, we'd really like to help you sort that out. Okay, this is just a quick picture of the staff that work for us, and I didn't put that up because I'm going to test you and want you to kind of know who's in each location, but I want you to get the sense that actually we've got people around the place and their job is to support you. So when you do a placement or if you've got a project and it's happening in any of these sites, then those are the people that you would be in touch with. And of course, you know, in 4 years' time, when you're in the Masters of OT, so some of those people might have changed over, but the concept is that there's a safety net there for you. So we are right, you know, there to do whatever it is that you need to be successful in your placement. And my final slide. Why does Flinders care about this? Essentially, we care because we're really committed to the Northern Territory and making sure that the health services that are provided here are first rate, comparable to anywhere in the world. And to do that, we need the whole team. We don't just need doctors. You might have heard about Flinders and the medical program and the NC medical program and, you know, the partnership with CDU, and it gets a lot of press time and all of that. But the thing is, doctors can't do their jobs without occupational therapists. Doctors can't do their jobs without health promotion officers. Doctors can't do their jobs without nurses. So we need the whole health team, and you'll do a better job of being a health professional if you've understood and learned in the context that you're going to work, because you'll be, you know, much more at ease with the people who are attending your health service and the kinds of issues that they're coming to, the kinds of other team members that you're interacting, if you've had the opportunity to experience it before you're actually working there as a graduate. So we really care a lot, and we actually want to work with you during your study to make sure that you know, you feel like, yep, I really want to be in this OT pathway, and I'm really going to be working hard to be successful at that and then to come back as a graduate. And of course, not everybody wants to come back, like we get that too, so there's sort of at this point no obligation on you to come back, but even if you don't come back here, if you end up working in, you know, rural South Australia or rural Victoria or, you know, outback Queensland, the Cape, you know, you'll be a better health professional because of your experiences in the Northern Territory.
Thank you.
I don't know if you've got any questions.
I haven't got time for those. No, just kidding. Thank you very much, Narelle. And Narelle is, well, you know, I don't want to get too emotional, but it's been really good developing the relationship